Welcome to the Homeownership Podcast presented by Momentum Realty, located in Hanover, Massachusetts. This series covers all things real estate and the best practices for buying, selling, and owning properties. Now here's your host, Sean Maloney.
Welcome to episode 106, Booking a Showing in 2021. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Maloney. Thanks for joining me this week. I want to talk to you about booking a house during COVID times in a hot market, seller's market 2021. I'm talking about when you pull up to an open house and not only are there a few cars out front, there are literally dozens of cars with dozens of people walking through the home. What does this all mean? How do we get it done? I'm going to break it down right here. So first off, I want to say that 2021 is going to be a challenging marketplace at the very beginning of the year as far as getting in a home when you want. So one of the first things to remember is call in advance. With so much demand, the sooner we hear from you, the better chance we have of getting the time you want. Thinking that you can just show up at an open house nowadays and be in and out in 10 or 15 minutes, you got another thing coming. Quite a few of the open houses right now actually require you register before going, which means you need to reach out to your agent ahead of time to let them know that you plan on going. This is really crucial to remember because it can be a heartbreaker when you show up, wait an hour in line, only to find out that line was not a line, but that was scheduled appointments. Everything is running a little bit different right now as far as even when you have an appointment time, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get to go in right at that time. Due to COVID-19 and the limiting of who can go in at what times, this means oftentimes we show up and we're waiting. We're waiting for enough people to process through the house that we can get in. So if you're somebody that really needs a firm appointment, you really want to reach out ahead of time. And where do you want to put your appointment? The very first or the very second appointment of the day. That way other people's schedules can affect your appointment time. While this is not always available, it's optimal. If you're going to get there, it's better to be the first person than to be there midday, because during midday, most of the time you're going to see they could be waiting as much as an hour. And with the weather cold, make sure you dress for the occasion. You may be waiting outside for quite a bit of time. Wear your boots, be ready, be with gloves, hat, winter coat, all that. That way you're ready and warm. Remember though, the sooner you reach out to your agent, which if you need an agent, whether you're buying or selling, you could reach out to us over here at Momentum Realty. We can set you up with one of our realtors who we call Move Mentors, because we believe they mentor you on the buying, selling, and owning process versus being more of a salesperson. They are a salesperson, but they help you and guide you through the entire process. Another thing to remember during COVID times is that the pre-approvals are sometimes required to even step foot in the ground. This means getting started early is a must. I want to break down a few things. First off, a lot of people think if I get a pre-approval, I'm stuck to that lender. Wrong. You can change your lender all the way basically up until closing. There are certain fees you might incur by changing after the PNS, after the appraisal, but there is no rule, law, or anything stating that you must work with the person on your original pre-approval. So don't feel tethered down. The first pre-approval, honestly, for a lot of people, it's basically a learning game. Like you just got it and you're proud of yourself and you feel good. It doesn't mean that you can't get another. And also don't think that just because you got one or two means you're going to have a credit problem. The credit reporting agencies look at hard pulls versus soft pulls. A soft pull for a mortgage company is very easy. It doesn't hurt your credit. If it does, it would be very, very marginally by like single digit type points, not massive. If you call 20 different lenders, it might go off a little weird, but it's pretty typical to see someone call anywhere between, say, 2 and 5 lenders or mortgage professionals to find out who has the best product for the best prices and best rates. Keep that in mind. The pre-approval is the first step to buying a house. For a long time, we didn't require it to go to a showing, but like I said, due to COVID-19 and stuff, there's quite a few sellers that are saying, well, if a person's not pre-approved, they're not serious about going because it doesn't cost any money to get a pre-approval. It doesn't lock them to a bank. It doesn't hurt their credit. So if they're not willing to take the first steps, I'm not willing to let them in my house during these times. So keep that in mind, especially with these super busy open houses. If it's Wednesday, which you're looking and you're going to be going out on Saturday, don't let it wait. Get a hold of the lender, get a hold of the mortgage broker, get a hold of your banker, whoever you're using for the money, and say to them, I'm going out this weekend. Unfortunately for them, most of the time what they do is they get a call or Sunday night, Monday morning, oh my God, the offer's due by noontime. I need you to get me a pre-approval right now. Remember, that person can't just jump that quick. This is serious financial stuff. They may be able to do it relatively quickly, depending on the operation. But just remember, there's high volume out there right now, so you need to make sure earlier the better. really with all this stuff right now, the earlier the better. I can't get that point across enough. The earlier, the better. Then when you go out on showings, there's some things to remember. Out on showings, remember, you're not there to touch people's stuff and everything. And with COVID, we're really asking you touch minimal things. When you go into a showing, you have to follow all the COVID guidelines, and masks are required for all showings. This isn't a choice of the agents. This isn't a choice of the people. This isn't a choice of the consumer. This is the law. This is what we have to follow. So all I ask you as a broker is when the agents come out and they're doing their best, trust me, they want the end of mask days just as much as you do. So don't give them trouble. Even if you're more than 6 feet apart, when you're inside of somebody else's property, it is a rule. You must have that mask on. And I know, obviously, it's not optimal, but it is what it is. Another thing I want to point out is because of COVID times and the limited availability of how many people we can put through a house, I want to make some suggestions here. One is to take note paper with you. Why? So you can write yourself notes. 2 is to make sure you have your cell phone with you. I'm not telling you to go posting the listing online and putting up photos on Facebook or all this, but feel free, with permission from the agent, to videotape the property so you can take yourself back there mentally after. It's a lot to ask of somebody to look at a piece of property that costs multiple hundreds of thousands, if not millions, and say you have 10 or 15 minutes to make a decision, hurry up, get out. And that's where we're at right now. You can schedule a second viewing, but a lot of times Saturday and Sunday is the first open house. Monday by noontime offers are due, and the offer's being accepted by 10 that night. That means that if you're really interested, you may want to reach out to your contractor friend. You may want to reach out to mom and dad, whoever you wanted to see the property before you make the offer. You may want to make sure they make that first original interaction because they may not be more than one. It also may not be more than 15 minutes. That means you really, really, really want to get it right. As an agent, we're going to be there to guide you, help you, steer you in directions. But the truth is, there's not much we can do when it comes to the idea of 100 people want to see the house. They're only allowing 1 to 2 groups of people in a house at a time. 100 by 1 or 2 times 5 minutes, we're talking literal hours of showings already scheduled. So that's why it's a little bit difficult. But remember, when looking at the houses, you got to look at it in more of a pragmatic and practical way. If a house isn't for you, don't even bother. And also, when you're shopping, I'm not telling you can't shop the top of your budget, but being aware that most everything is selling at or above asking price means that you may want to look at stuff slightly below your full budget. That way, when it goes multiple offer, you're able to come up with that extra funding, because shopping at the very top of your budget in an upward trending marketplace usually basically leads to disappointment every day, because you go out, you look at a house, you love it for $600, it goes for $650. Go out, you look at a house, you love it for $625, goes for $675. Go out and look at a house at $575, sells $625. What does it mean? It means that you're just beating yourself up and not being realistic on where the houses are going to sell. That's really important. Your agent should be able to help you mentally with this, but you also have to take yourself and remind yourself, this is what's going on. I know it's uncomfortable in your mind sometimes to say, okay, I'm going to offer $20,000, $40,000, $60,000, $100,000 over asking. Why? Well, the truth is the market is extremely, extremely burdened by not enough inventory. And I don't know that that's going to change anytime soon, because a lot of different things happen. Everything from people moving out of the cities to more babies being born than ever to less new construction units being available. We have the perfect storm for very, very high house prices that are going to continue to rise. So like I say to buyers, if you don't like the prices today, just wait till tomorrow. I can guarantee you won't like the prices. Sitting back, hesitating, and not putting your best foot forward is going to stop you from getting the right house. I hope this helps you book the showing that you're looking to book upcoming. If you need an agent to help you, that's willing to reach out, that's willing to do all the legwork to get you in there as soon as possible, to try to get your offer accepted and to get you that dream home, reach out to us over here at Momentum Realty. We'd love to set you up with one of our realtors and move mentors. If you haven't yet checked out our Facebook group, the blog, as well as the weekly newsletter, make sure to check out and subscribe to those as well. A lot of great free information on owning, buying, and selling homes. Thank you so much for listening this week, and I look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great day.